I'm Mad.
And I'm Joe.
And we are the creators of Arcanus Luncheon Branch, available now on Webtoon and Tapas.
We are also both either sick or recovering from being sick, so...
I was gonna make it a surprise.
I want to get out ahead of this as a person who listens to audio very regularly.
Fair.
If you set these expectations low at the beginning.
Yeah, we're both recovering. So let's talk about our video. Right now on screen you are seeing me work on a Tapas banner for the feature page. Tapas emailed the account for Arcanus a couple weeks ago saying like, hey, we'd like to collect your banner for doing features, which was very surprising to me because I think at that time we only had 4 chapters.
Yep. We'd been going for what would be two months and had 4 chapters.
Yeah. So I thought it was a joke. And I thought we were being pranked by someone who wants free art. So I did Google research and trace back emails and all that stuff. But it turned out to be real. So then I got super excited, woke Joe up in the middle of the night, texted them, and then we started making the banner.
Yes, I did a lot of work making this banner.
You approved the images. So let's talk about the process of stuff, since we're talking about how we do the process. I usually do a bunch of concept images, which you saw in the beginning, send those over to Joe, say, Joe, pick top 3, and then I choose my top 3 and usually go with whatever I like. And then I go with color concepts. For this one specifically, I wanted to choose specific palettes. I've been working on color theory stuff, so I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, then after we do the color concepts, pick an image, I do a rough sketch over the thumbnail, enlarge the thumbnail, do a rough sketch, and then I do lines, and then we just go into the color phase.
Which, from what I hear, is your favorite part of this.
Yeah, I hate coloring. I would love to, if this comic I could just do it in grayscale and black and white, which is why I love the holiday episode so much, because I could just do it in black and white. It was great. But yeah, actually, and the last step, I send it over to our graphic designer, who puts in the logo and touches up stuff to make everything look all nice at the end. So then once it gets sent back to me, once again, final approval from Joe, and then we sent it off. Yeah. So that's what goes into making the smaller illustrations, like the covers and the thumbnails. So let's talk about so far what goes into making an episode for us.
So it all started 2 years ago when we played this game. It is an absolute stroke of genius that I cannot take credit for us to have recorded sessions. I think this just started off as hey, we run a lot of games on our private pocket of the internet, and some people aren't in those games that might want to listen along. That makes it really useful for going back and listening through elements of the story that we want to kind of adapt. Obviously I have my own campaign notes, but a lot of my reporting on sessions is very contingent on the fact that I know the entire story, so it's maybe not necessarily super useful. I've reverted back to looking at some things for elements of dialogue or just to kind of get me in the space, but what's very useful is us having those recordings, which we then kind of pick and choose out of the various things that will be fun for Mad to draw and for us to release into the wild. So yeah, that's kind of the first step. And then we kind of back and forth on what we want. We started off with season 1 wanted to take a smaller view so that we could then expand and go insane later.
Yeah, season 1 is just our introductions of a lot of stuff. Main characters, you can get used to kind of Ash's behavior and how she interacts with people, and just setting up Arcanus world.
Yeah, before later, where we're going to be doing very deep dives on stuff that isn't Ash related, or tangentially Ash related.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we go through and we make kind of a timeline list, a couple sentences of episode descriptions, and then Joe makes a script, which I go through and split up in panels, which I don't really need to do that anymore because Joe actually splits them up in panels for me.
Yeah.
Yay!
We'll talk about growth later.
And then I do a storyboard and send it back to Joe for approval, which usually gets approved. Yeah, and then I start working on the episode, and yeah, throughout that we just go to, we do the sketch, look at this, lines, look at this, colors, look at this, until we get to the text when I put all of the word bubbles in, and then that's actually, Joe has to pay very close attention to all of my spelling errors and making things sound British, spelling and whatnot.
Also, the correct order of dates.
Yes.
Mostly what my proofreading has been is pointing out where U's should totally be and then shifting dates around.
Yeah. And then I just do the whole process of, I do everything at once. I do all the sketches at once, all the inks at once, all the colors at once, and then I take 18 years to do colors because I don't like them, and they're very boring for me. And then we put all the cool stuff in and the special effects, and then that's what we special effects when I send it to the graphic designer, who looks over everything and adds in all that kind of stuff. And then I cut up the episode to post. Doesn't sound very interesting, but I've sort of gotten in the rhythm of that.
There's also the important step of showing it to me, and like, here's all the coloring and everything.
Yes.
And I get to be very excited about that.
Yeah, I think pretty much after every step, I show Joe, like, hey, look what we got. And then Joe goes, wow, let's do it. Can you tell we need an editor? We need an actual editor.
I mean, it's working so far.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of been a bit of a journey, even though we haven't really posted that many episodes. There's been a lot of change in our workflow, specifically my workflow, but also Joe's, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Joe's changed how we write a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's been interesting to adapt, because I think I very much approached the first few scripts that I wrote from the point of view of, like, Mad knows what they're doing. They are like the artistically minded person, so I just kind of threw together, like, the dialogue is very easy for me, and I just kind of put in, like, here maybe is what this sort of looks like, here's how this could be arranged, I guess, because I didn't really see myself as having the kind of mind for that. Like, I have, all the creative writing I've done before has been prose specifically, which the kind of, like, the descriptions of actions in prose is, as I quickly learned, very different from this sort of writing. I've adapted, like, plays before, but that's, again, like, I'm not writing down exactly, like, how I want this sort of shot to be framed, because I didn't think I had a mind for it. And then Mad said that it would be very helpful if I did, and wait, I would be helpful for someone if I did? And yeah, I've adapted a lot of how I go about, like, writing in long form to, like, and also just kind of, now when I watch things, I'm kind of a bit more cognizant about, like, if this were a still, how would it be described? Super
helpful for me.
It's been a process. Like, it's all skills that, like, I have had. It's mostly sort of just adapting it and then, like, getting over my dumb brain thing of, like, you don't know how to do an art or, like, comic composition. Why would you have any input on this?
It also helps that now that Joe has seen what episodes with dialogue look like they know now, oh, okay, that's kind of the limitation of how much dialogue we can put in the scene, and how much description and how many actions we can put before Mad goes insane from trying to fit all this stuff in. Yeah. For me, I have cut down a lot of things. Having the descriptions in the scripts makes the storyboarding process a lot easier, and I've also decided to save time. I now go straight from, so I do a little bit more detailed storyboards, so then now I can go from storyboard straight to line working. Usually I will add or change a couple panels, but I don't have to do it that much, which saves me a lot of time and means I can draw more panels. And I'm still finding new ways to do color stuff. I've been looking at a lot of people who color comics. Everybody has a different way to color comics. And I have so far not really found one that works for me. I think in the future there will be a lot of color palette changes, just until I finally get what it's fitting. As you can probably see in this banner, I colored Ash a lot more different than I usually do, and I really liked it when I did that. That was the one thing I liked about doing the Tapas banner, was I didn't limit myself to the way I color the comic. So yeah, look forward to those changes. So let's start wrapping up. Where to find us? We are on Tapas and Webtoon as Arcanus, London branch.
You can also find us on a bevy of social medias, such as the TikTok, the Instagram, and Twitter, if such a thing still exists. All of those are at Arcanus LB. We are doing very quality meme posting now on TikTok.
Yeah.
Since that's what the kids like.
Yeah, also we will have links in the description, and we do have a link tree that we use. Yeah, and hopefully if this goes up on time, the banner will still be up. Who knows? So you can see that on Tapas and Webtoons. I am working on my Ko-fi, where I will be posting all of the promotional images that we put up, and we have some codas coming up for episodes, some little episode extras that will also be going up in the Ko-fi. So look forward to that in the future.
Super secret things.
Yeah, secret things that go at the end of episodes. Yeah, so anything else?
No, I think that's good.
Okay, all right. So, I've been Mad.
I remain Joe.
And yeah, we look forward to the next chapter with you guys. Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.